After several delays, The Beatles Get Back, the book, finally received global publication on October 12, 2021. This is the first official standalone book to be released by the Beatles since international bestseller, The Beatles Anthology. In the mid-1990s, Anthology was presented as a book, 3 double CD albums, and a film series. Now the Beatles Get Back sessions are also being presented to fans as a spectacular musical hat trick. This book, which I'm about to get into in detail, started this triumphant trifecta and was followed several days later with a series of Let It Be special editions. The grand finale will be a 3-part film, The Beatles Get Back, set for release exclusively on Disney Plus over 3 days, November 25th, 26th, and 27th, 2021. Let's get back to the book. I first saw this book in person when I went to pick up the Target Exclusive Edition of Let It Be early on the morning of October 15th. While I was tempted to purchase the Target exclusive book right then and there for the $42 price tag, I recalled having seen a post a couple days earlier from another YouTube content creator. Mark P., whom I respect greatly, I consider him a contemporary, posted about a Costco edition being offered. Mark P. has some great content on his channel. He always presents well. If you're not already aware of his channel, I recommend checking it out. Getting back to my story, I mentioned to my fiancée, who has a Costco membership, that I thought the book might make a nice holiday or birthday gift, and I left it at that, content to either receive the book as a gift or pick it up myself at a later date. Much to my delight, I received the book as an early gift when my fiancée generously considered that I might like to have it when the film is released in November. My fiancée, she don't let me down. This is a beautiful 240-page hardcover book published by Callaway. It's the companion book to the 2021 film, The Beatles Get Back. While the retail price is listed at $60 US, this Costco edition is being sold for $35.99. This is even lower than the 30% off retail Target price of $42. Of course, if you buy 2, while the promotional BOGO 50% is in effect, you'll save even more. Another deal I noticed at the time of publishing this video is that Amazon also has a limited time deal of $36 for the standard edition of Get Back. There are 4 exclusive lobby cards included with the Target edition of the Get Back book. The Costco edition comes with 4 exclusive photos which differ from the images used on the Target exclusive lobby cards. Side comment, does anybody else find it funny that this Target store display has the Beatles on one side and recipe books on the other? I mean, did Target think they were taking a chance on selling these Beatles books? I picture some executive in an office somewhere mulling over sales expectations. I don't know, Charlie. We better put recipe books on the other side just in case. That's my 1960s overbearing boss type character voice.
It's push, push, push all the way.
Ina Garden will bail us out if these Beatles fail us. For goodness sake, this is a highly anticipated Beatles book that fans are going to scoop up in record numbers. It's a bestseller. Give the boys both sides of that display. Come on, Target. Moving on. The various editions of Get Back I've seen thus far include a QR code. If you're curious about this, it simply directs to a feature on the book at thebeatles.com. I'll point out once more this silver embossed sticker on the shrink wrap. Reminds me of those Caldecott stickers I used to see on picture books in elementary school. Anyway, let's tear into this shrink wrap and get on with it. I will save the embossed sticker. Get Back is adorned with a paper sash. The front features the cover photos from the Let It Be album, or more accurately, they appear as they did on the cover to the original UK Let It Be 45. On the side is the book title. The front and back flaps give short biographies on contributors to this book. Ethan Russell and Linda McCartney on the front flap, Peter Jackson, Hanif Qureshi, and John Harris on the back flap. The rear of the sash features a quote from Peter Jackson, followed by a brief book summary and credits of the aforementioned contributors. Here's the naked front cover of the book. On the back cover sits this removable sheet indicating that this is the Costco edition. Underneath, the rear cover is blank, but for the barcode. Here's the book's spine without the sash, featuring the Beatles drop T logo and the title, Get Back by the Beatles. I'm going to crack this book open for the first time. The Beatles Get Back by the Beatles. I'm really looking forward to viewing the photos in this book. There's going to be some extraordinary images here, most of them being published for the first time. The majority of these photographs are by either Ethan Russell or Linda Eastman, who was to become Linda McCartney within just 2 months following these sessions. Here's the table of contents. The foreword is written by director Peter Jackson. Precious. Of course, Jackson is best known for his work on the classic 2005 remake of King Kong, starring Jack Black. He's also done some other films. I don't know, something or other about jewelry, I think. Who's Lord of the Rings these days? This guy. That's an engagement joke. Next up in the book is an introduction by Hanif Qureshi. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing his name. Now, back in September of 2020, I did a video covering an announcement about this Get Back book. I received a comment at the time constructively criticizing me for not having done my homework, as I had no idea who Hanif Qureshi was, nor did I understand his connection to the Beatles. So, Gabby Savansky, this is for you. Among other accomplishments, Hanif Qureshi is an extremely accomplished author and Oscar-nominated screenwriter. He's best known for his novel, The Buddha of Suburbia. According to Wikipedia, the London-based British newspaper, The Times, included Qureshi in its 2008 list of 50 greatest British writers since 1945. So there you have it. I haven't found any information to indicate Qureshi has any previous affiliation with the Beatles, but his resume certainly qualifies his involvement, I suppose. I'll also let this quote from the book speak for itself. When I think about the Beatles, which I do every day, I sit down and play one song all through the morning before starting work to ignite my mood. I dream of magic, stardust and variety, of lightness, charm, and joie de vivre, and I often wonder how this sunshine seemed to break out one fine day in the 1960s. Hanif Qureshi, you've got my attention. Following the Qureshi introduction, these pages, labeled Dramatis Personae, the Latin phrase for the masks of the drama, outline those who figure prominently in the dramatic saga of Get Back. Of course, the main players are the Beatles themselves, but there are many others who play into this story. An interesting feature of this book is that not only are photographs used, but also film frames scanned from the original 16mm footage, as directed by Michael Lindsay-Hogg and shot by the 1969 camera crew. These film frames are distinguished in the book with round-cornered borders. The photographs are framed with rectangular borders. The bulk of the book is broken up into 3 acts, featuring transcripts of candid conversations between the Beatles and their associates that took place during the Get Back sessions. These have been carefully transcribed and edited by leading music writer John Harris from the original Nagra sound recordings. Act 1 spends 90 pages covering the days the Beatles spent at Twickenham Film Studio between January 2nd and January 16th, 1969. After a brief essay by John Harris, a plethora of photos and transcribed dialogue is beautifully presented day by day. Act 2 focuses on the subsequent sessions to Twickenham, which saw the Beatles relocate to Apple Studios in the basement of their Savile Row office building. Over the next 75 pages of Get Back, John Harris again sets the stage prior to a presentation of daily photos and transcribed dialogue covering the dates from the 21st to the 31st of January 1969. Act 3 dedicates 35 pages to the January 30th Rooftop concert, which was to become the Beatles' final live public performance, as well as the recording session which took place the following day to capture those songs not suitable for the Rooftop. As with the prior 2 acts, this act of the book starts with words by John Harris, followed by photos and transcripts. John Harris also takes the afterword. This is followed up by song credits, including one by Pete Townsend, and other various credits, such as photo credits, restoration, special thanks, publishing credits, etc. The final word is given to John Lennon with his famous quote, which closes the Let It Be album. I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the group and ourselves, and I hope we've passed the audition. Indeed you have, John. Indeed you have. Let me now get into what makes this Costco edition of Get Back exclusive. Attached to the inside rear cover is this cardboard envelope with a flap sealed by a circular sticker adorned with the green apple logo. I'll carefully open that flap and withdraw the contents of the envelope. Here are the included 8x10 limited edition color photos printed on heavy cardstock. The look and feel of these photos is quite nice.
Roll call!
Here's John, Paul, George, and Ringo. These images feature photography by Ethan Russell. They are an excellent inclusion I'm pleased to have with this edition of Get Back. Additional extras included in this book are Callaway bookmarks and a double-sided advertisement sheet. There are actually 3 of the Callaway bookmarks in my copy of Get Back. I'm not sure if this was intentional or not. One side of the ad sheet calls attention to the Beatles' Let It Be 6-disc edition. The other side features this book. Get Back sits nicely alongside the anthology book, which features its own worthwhile section on the Get Back sessions. Get Back is the official account of the Beatles' final album, told in their own words, featuring hundreds of previously unpublished photographs. As the holidays approach, it's the perfect gift for any Beatles fan, complete with 240 pages and over 200 photographs. Now it's time for me to end this video and get back to reading Get Back, so I can prepare for a viewing of the film series next. Don't you just love the smell of new books? Thanks for watching.